Brady campaign. It's good to have you back.
Yeah,
nice to meet you. It's good to see you again,
sir.
Chief. Chief, let me give you a question right from the audience to start. Teresa Einacker, thank you very much for being here. What's your question for the Chief?
Thank you. I'm Teresa, and I am a volunteer with the Coalition of New Jersey Firearm Owners. So I am a proud female firearm owner, and I just want to say that I'm a firearm owner, and I care too. So I think there's a little bit of a misunderstanding that we don't care, but we do. And actually, we're against violence, all violence, not just gun violence. So my question is, do you believe a woman has a right to choose whether or not to defend her own body, and in the manner she chooses, and that the government should not interfere with that decision?
Well, that's a little off topic here, but I do believe in a woman's right to choose. Now, when you get into the area about any means she chooses, I don't know what you mean by that. I mean, there are laws. If you're talking about deadly force, for an example, you carry a gun or whatever, there are only certain circumstances under which you can actually resort to deadly force, okay? And so it's important as a gun owner, and that goes for any gun owner, to understand the laws of that particular state so that they don't wind up doing something that could actually cause them some problems down the road. But certainly, if you're assaulted or whatever, you have a right to defend yourself, but when you talk about deadly force, that's a little different.
You know, it's interesting. There's a transitive property involved, right? You're playing on what we see with reproductive rights. And in each case, though, people who are making these impassioned arguments, what's the concern? The concern is the well-being of the person who winds up being the recipient of the act, right? When you're talking about reproductive rights, which obviously isn't what we're talking about tonight, but still important, it's, well, what about the fetus? Or what about the baby? When is it a person, right? You're thinking about, well, who is going to be impacted by the decision that's made? Well, that's the same thing here, is that I have a right to own a gun. I do own a gun, but my right has restrictions on it, Chief,
exactly.
Right? And when we start talking about, well, what is the impact of my right on the rest of society, that's where you get into even what Scalia, and you have to say it that way, may he rest in peace, he was a genius jurist. Before that case, we didn't have an individual right read into the Second Amendment, and the difference is huge. The Second Amendment used to be about what the state could make you do. That's where it came from. You have to have the arm. It has to be able to be used, and you have to know how to use it so that when you come to work in Washington's Army, you know what the hell you're doing, so it doesn't have to spend so much time and so much money training you up and equipping you. Now, it's different. It's about what you as an individual are empowered to do. So as a reality, once you get past all that legal